Have the Knicks' plans for the 2024 NBA draft been revealed? We're going to break that down on today's show as I am your host, Marshall Green, and you're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. The NBA draft is 7 days away. I'm pumped up, and hopefully the New York Knicks, they can find a diamond in the rough as they do own the 24th, 25th, and 38th pick in this upcoming year's draft. I will say, I would be shocked if the Knicks do make all three selections that they own right now, whether that means they're trading up in the NBA draft, trading away their picks, or whatever it may be. I have a hard time thinking they're going to add 3 young rookies to this team. There's been some thought out there that the New York Knicks are going to be targeting older prospects in this class, players that are ready to plug and play, and Ian Begley on the Knicks Film School podcast kind of echoed that. Shout out to Jonathan Macri, check them out. Says, that's been kind of Thibs' ethos, taking players, guys who are kind of ready to go right away. Those are the guys I think he likes. I think maybe an older, a more seasoned player over an 18-year-old who hasn't played a ton in college but has a lot of upside. And I do think the New York Knicks look to players that are a little bit more experienced, guys that are more ready to play instead of these projects that you draft at 18 and a half years old, and you hope by year 2 or year 3 that they become a hit, like Kevin Knox. I don't think that's a player Tom Thibodeau would draft. I think he'd look at a guy like Mikal Bridges, who maybe wasn't looked at as a guy that had nearly the upside that Knox did, but was ready to plug and play and was going to be a consistent player in this league. And we've seen, since Tom Thibodeau has taken over as the head coach, and Leon Rose and crew have been a part of this organization, they've been looking for players and drafting players that have spent multiple years in college. Obi Toppin did that at Dayton. Immanuel Quickley did that at Kentucky. Quentin Grimes, Kansas, and U of H. And shout out to Deuce McBride of Press Virginia. All 4 of these players have spent multiple years in college. And I think that's the type of prospect the New York Knicks are looking to, because they could use some more depth. And they could use guys that can come in and make an impact early on, and it sounds like the New York Knicks themselves have done a self-assessment, and they think the same thing. Ian Begley said this a couple of weeks ago. In the aftermath of their Game 7 loss to the Pacers, there has been internal concern over the Knicks' roster depth in the postseason, particularly against Indiana. So in some of these recent draft meetings, the focus has been on finding players who can bolster the back end of the roster. And that is the exact type of prospect player that I think they're going to target. Players that are older and can be plug-and-play players. So in today's video, I'm going to name 6 players that I think the Knicks could target that are a little bit more seasoned and have some nice college experience under their belt. But before I do, I want you to get down in the comment section and let me know, who do you want the New York Knicks to draft? Give me a name in the comment section. So I've gone through multiple mock drafts, and I've looked at all the prospects, and I've got a pretty good grasp on these players. And I've picked out 6 guys that I think would all fall into the criteria of older, ready to play, and Tom Thibodeau type of players. Let's start with DaRon Holmes, the second out of Dayton. I view him more as a power forward than a big, maybe could play a little bit of small ball 5, but he's 21.8 years old. He's a junior in college, and he's got good size. It's not great size at almost 6'9", 236 pounds. I view him as more of maybe that potential stretch 4 down the line, but he is big and he can bang a little bit. Pause. Says, our scouting report is he excels with his back to the basket and did most of his work on the block. Showcased the ability to space the floor with a developing jumper. He's undersized and might not fit as a true center. And I echo all of those things. Kevin O'Connor of The Ringer says, quote, shot blocking is his best defensive skill. He's agile in small spaces and perceptive. He keeps his head on a swivel and hustles for second and third efforts on possessions. Intelligent player who embraces his role as a screener, cutter, and a rim runner. He plays with an energy level, and a compete level and effort that I think Tom Thibodeau would absolutely love. Averaged almost 21 points last year, 9 boards. He gave you 2.1 blocks. He could protect the rim, do that athleticism. I think he's going to be a good player in this league, and I think he might be able to make an impact in his rookie season. One of my favorite players in this draft class is Jaylon Tyson. I like to view him as more of a big guard than a wing. But he's a skilled scorer who can hit from all three levels, both off the dribble and off the catch, solid versatility on the defensive end, and a skilled ball handler who plays at his own pace. I think it'd be a good backcourt mate with Deuce McBride. I see him as a guy that can somewhat be a big guard or a point forward that can run your second unit. And with Deuce, who I think is a better off-ball guard than on-ball guard, I think it could be a really good duo. Kevin O'Connor of The Ringer says he's a big shot creator who plays with a downhill style, overpowering smaller players with a mix of bully moves, hesitations, half spins, and tight crossovers. Comfortable shooter off the dribble who can make floaters, mid-range pull-ups, and an occasional three. He is a crafty scorer, and I think that as he continues to mature and grow and just get more reps under his belt, I think he's going to turn into a solid scorer in this league, and I actually think the NBA game might benefit him a little bit more space, and not nearly as physical as defense unless in the playoffs. Guy averaged almost 20 points per game last year and 3.5 dimes with good efficiency. I think he'd be a good backcourt guard forward for the Knicks to look at. One of my favorite prospects in this class is Ryan Dunn, the New York native, 21.4 years old, maybe the best perimeter defender in this draft class. Over 6'6", has a wingspan over 7 foot, and he's got good size at 214 pounds. He'll be able to defend every single position in the NBA. Maybe the short, shifty guards like Tyrese Maxey give him a little bit of a problem, but man, he's going to be excellent on that end. Fantastic rebounder, utilizes his athleticism and length to scoop up boards. Most complete defender in the class, but also maybe the worst offensive player in the class. Kind of gives me Andre Roberson vibes on that side of the floor. O'Connor says this: he's a special defender who disrupts plays in every way. He's intelligent, often blowing up opponents' plays, and with his versatility, he can switch to effectively contain opponents of any shape or style, understands his offensive role. He isn't a creator, but he limits mistakes and keeps the ball moving. If he can become a below-average offensive player, he shot like 20% from three last year. He just doesn't do it. But if he is someone that can get up to 33%, 34% from three, he is going to be a guy that's going to be a part of a winning basketball team. He's got all NBA potential and maybe depoy potential. Would love for OG Anunoby and Tom Thibodeau to take Dunn under their wing and develop him into a menace on that side of the floor. Another one of my favorite prospects in this class is Tristan da Silva out of Colorado. Just turned 23 years old. He's a senior, and he's got elite size at 6'8" plus, 217 pounds. One thing that I love about him is he's an all-around player that could contribute right off the jump. When you talk about Da Silva, a lot of people will tell you, well, he's not any great at any one thing, but he's solid at just about anything. He's a playmaking hub at times for Colorado with his ability to space the floor. He lacks explosiveness, which could limit his ceiling. But we talk about ball handling, scoring, shooting, passing, dishing, and defense. He's got it all, man. O'Connor says effortless spot-up three-point shooter who's made nearly 40% of his catch-and-shoot threes in college. Coordinated at the rim finisher with a knack for opportunistic cuts and sealing off defenders under the rim, then using either hand to hit hook shots. I love Silva's game. An efficient player, can score at all three levels, has good defensive ability as well with that length. He can put it in the basket. Not sure if he'll be available at 24, but if he is, he's the guy I'm hoping the New York Knicks go and target. Another player that fits the bill of an older prospect and a Tom Thibodeau guy is Tyler Kolek. We all know what Kolek can bring as one of the best Big East guards in recent memory. He was the Big East Player of the Year in 2023, 6'1", 197 pounds. He's a cerebral player who excels reading opposing defenses and opponents' leverages. He is your old school point guard. He's going to run the show. He's going to set the table, and he's going to get the ball to his scorers at open spots and good looks. And he's kind of the point guard that I would like the Knicks to target, to come off the bench to replace Brunson and keep that offensive float. He's good at the pick and roll. He's improved as a shooter. I think he's going to be able to come in and be an effective player in the league ASAP. O'Connor says he has a high feel, a point guard who can play quickly, slowly, and at every speed in between, both out on the break and in the half court, uses dribble drives to create angles for perfectly timed passes to cutters and shooters, knock down lefty three-point shooter off the catch, an important trait if he's going to thrive alongside other ball handlers. If he can continue to improve from distance, he's going to be really good in this league. I don't know if he's got the strength of T.J. McConnell, but, man, he kind of plays like him, and I think he can give that kind of competitive edge to this New York Knicks backcourt off the bench. A player we have not talked about on the channel yet, and you guys have been asking about me, is the big man, from Purdue, Zach Edey, 22 years old, almost 7'4", 300 pounds. And there are a lot of different takes on Edey. People want to know, can he move his feet on defense? Will he be someone that gets hunted in matchups? I view him as a player who's got a great offensive ceiling. He's got great touch around the rim. He could score with his back to the basket. He's going to continue to improve that jumper. And just that sheer size, I think, will make him someone that could be a contributor on the defensive end. I thought he got better attacking the ball in the air when trying to block shots. I'm not saying he's ever going to be a superstar, but I do think Edey could have a role on a winning team in this league, and you can feed him the ball on the block. O'Connor, hard to stop interior scorer, not just because of his sheer size, but also because of his skill and touch. He does a great job of using his massive frame to seal off positioning and making himself available for interior feeds. He doesn't have advanced footwork, but his gigantic presence is enhanced by his agility, and I agree with all of that. I remember last year I was talking to Roley and Seeps that they were telling me Edey was not going to be drafted, bro. I'm like, you guys are tripping, man. The skill and the size is something that's going to make him be a player, and he just got better in the offseason. He's got better every year, and that's what I like, man. 25-12 with 2 blocks. At that size, with that skill, I just see it hard for him to be a bust in this league with some of the centers we're watching having some success. Could he be maybe a Jonas Valanciunas down the line, or a Yusuf Nurkic or something like that? Maybe. We went through 6 players. Give me one guy you want to see the New York Knicks draft. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram at @MarshallGreen_. Hit me up over there. Let's go Knicks.